I was sitting slumped over in our balcony of our hotel room in Dallas. The night was cold and breezy, but I didn't feel a thing. The 2 wine coolers and half a bottle of MD 2020 had kicked in, and I was just left there thinking, what the hell am I even doing here? I had good reason to stay home, but there was nothing else to be done. My brother, Rafa, was gone, and staying home wasn't going to bring him back, or at least that's what everybody told me. So I decided to go to our annual JROTC field trip in Six Flags, Arlington, Texas. And no, the chaperones didn't even bother checking the toilet tank for our stash of alcohol. The boys were not as smart, and they had their beers confiscated. But I was rooming with 3 pros, Monica, Claudia, and Angie. They all knew the drill, and they knew this year was different. We were all high school seniors. This was our last big hurrah, and they knew they'd be rooming with me as I recovered from the most traumatic event in my life. On the 4-hour bus ride over from Houston, I mostly cried and slept. My friends took turns watching over me, but when we got there, we checked into our hotel room and we stashed the bottles away quickly. They brought out this big lime kiwi MD 2020. Angie looked over at me and said, I thought you'd need something a little stronger. And to this day, just the thought of the smell haunts me. You see, it had been less than 48 hours since I had received the news. I was in the JRTC building, coincidentally, when Colonel Bland got the phone call from my sister. And the Colonel, he was a tough customer. He was a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel and a Vietnam vet, and he took no excuses and no prisoners. He wasn't particularly fond of me. He made me dance through hoops just to join his drill team, and he made me work my butt off for just any morsel of approval or any little acknowledgement. I'd spent 4 years trying to convince him that I was a good soldier, that I was worthy. But he was just another father figure who saw nothing in me. But at that moment, I saw such tenderness in his eyes. He put the phone down. He called me over and he embraced me. He had a mix of just sadness and pity. When I felt that pity, I looked up at him, and he realized it too. I broke out of our embrace, and I rushed towards my friends, and they were the ones who walked me over to my sister's car. We rode home all the way without saying a word to each other. When we arrived at Six Flags, the day was muggy and cloudy. There was not a crowd, so we knew what that meant. We'd be riding all the rides at least twice. And our group joined up some of the senior boys. Well, there was one junior. His name was Joe. And Joe had been professing his love for me for months now. But I was I only like guys who were uninterested or unavailable, you know. I guess that was learned behavior from my dad's disapproval. So on this trip, Joe was, he was very kind. He was checking in on me, asking me if I'm okay. He asked to sit next to me on the rides. And after a while, I felt a little more sure of myself sitting next to him. He had this protective nature, much like my brother did. By the end of the day, my emotions, my anxiety had gone through just as many roller coasters as I had. Our little group of 8 had dinner in the restaurant of the hotel. I could barely eat a few bites. So the girls, they led me away to our room, and just as I was about to walk away, Joe reached for my hand. I gently pulled away. Within minutes, we were all in our pajamas, TV blaring, candy and magazines on the beds, and an open wine cooler in my hand. The girls were doing anything they could do, joking, dancing, laughing, anything to cheer me up. But my mind was just, my thoughts just went to the hospital room where my brother was lying, jaundiced, intubated. You know, they said it was sepsis that killed him, but it was really a complication from AIDS. He had told me only 6 months before, but I knew for years. I knew especially after his partner had died six years before. You know, I was numb, but my mind was racing. Was there anything I could have done to save him? Take a drink. How did he die so quickly? Take another drink. Did he suffer? Knock the whole thing back. Yeah, now my mind is numb too. I slide the balcony door open and I lean over the ledge. And at that moment, the girls chased me, and in case I wanted to do something stupid, they start yelling, "If you're thinking of doing it, just don't." So I sat on the floor, slumped. I don't want to give them the wrong idea. I just wanted air. I just wanted to breathe. More than anything, I wanted to hear my brother's voice again. Suddenly, someone hands me a phone, and I answered. "Hey, is it you?" "Yes, it's me." "I missed you so much. I didn't think I was ever going to hear your voice again." The voice answers back. "You know, your friends tell me you're going through a really rough time. I just wanted you to know I'm going to be there for you. I really care about you." "I really care about you too. I really want you to know that I love you. I will always love you. I will never forget you." The voice answers back. "You do?" At that moment, my friends realize what's going on. They take the phone away from me and, "You know, she's okay now. She'll call you back when she's sober." The next day, on the bus ride home, we sat together. Me with my hangover, my big sunglasses, and this lime kiwi vomit taste in my mouth, and him with this god-awful grin from ear to ear. I had told him I loved him, and even though I told him the truth, that I thought I was talking to my brother, he heard what he wanted to hear. Our relationship lasted 5 years. We had a son together. We named him Nathaniel, which means gift from God. And no, Joe was not the knight in shining armor he made himself out to be. nor should I have expected it. You know, I often thought about my brother, if he had lived, what my life would have been like. See, at the moment, he was my closest friend and family member. I often think I wouldn't have given Joe the time of day, but I survived. I survived my brother's death, and I survived the wreck of a relationship that followed.